Hello. Hello.
Alrighty, now hopefully I'm not gonna get any calls from work because I am on call. That is like officially a thing with me. Started off yesterday, today. Hey, it's another day on call, so hopefully there won't be any problems. No problems whatsoever. Also, hold on a second. Am I like even? Oop. There we go. Alright, hopefully that's. But yeah, hopefully no problems whatsoever. Now, you may be wondering, like, Grant, why didn't you, like, do a thing, like, earlier that you were, like, why didn't you start it earlier? Because normally it's, like, 5 minutes before 6 I start doing it. The reason why is because I actually got distracted because I am working on a little, hang on a sec, I also need to mute my alerts so then that way I don't get any, what's Mahoozy things. There we go. Do not disturb is now turned on. So if I am working on something really fucking stupid, okay? So I'm learning to like rotoscope and shit. And this is probably gonna like ruin the stream trying to do this. Because right now there's like maybe a CPU or a GPU thing trying to like do the work of watching. I'm just like waiting for the rotoscoping to go through this guy as he makes horse noises. Oh, hang on, I need to pause that, and then I need to remove that. Hang on a second, hopefully it will... Hi there, Ernest, Zach, welcome to the stream, I hope you're doing alright. Alright, let's see how it... Horse noises, sir. Yes, horse noises in fucking deed. Oh my god. Because here's the thing. I want to add this as like a, I hope you enjoyed my suggestion on Twitter. Oh, the one where we do like a subathon and like I start off with like all the gear and what have you, and then as the subathon goes on further, I take more and more of it off until I do a full face reveal. 5,000. It will require at least 5,000. Because here's the thing, is that like when I first started the stream, the anonymity of having a VTuber was what was desirable to me. I didn't like showing my face and what have you. It's not a pretty face. I don't want to have to deal with like makeup and all that kind of nonsense, or wearing good shirt, or dealing with like, you know, the imperfections of man. I didn't want to deal with any of that kind of nonsense. So by having the VTuber is great. And if I was to ever do a face reveal, like 5,000 subs in the month. Because that is basically what it costs for me to go to work like 5 times a week and what have you. And yeah, the likelihood of me being able to get to 5,000 means that I would have had a strong likelihood of getting to the 4 and 3,000, which by then I feel like, yeah, I could probably give up on my full-time job and do this full-time, but, you know. But yeah, this rotoscoping is intense, because not only is there, like, the normal, like, as you see with the purple line here, rotoscoping, but apparently there's, like, a refine brush for when you want to deal with, like, you know, crazy fucking hair, as you see here. Oh my gosh. Is this putting my PC to the paces? Is it, like, am I delayed for any of you? As John C. Reilly makes his fucking horse noises. I think monetization would be a fun way to do it if you're ever up to it. You would full-on mouth kiss you without makeup. Not without the consent. We need at least consent, and there's at least one of us that ain't consenting. You don't seem delayed at all? Oh, hang on. Hang on, I need to go back a few frames, because... it had a heart... Yeah, there we go. So... Alright. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a refined brush to all of this. Why must you do this to me? There we go. Actually, I probably shouldn't have done that. Let me remove all that. Hello there indeed, and how dare you take my shirt? Hello, Kahlua. Okay, you might appreciate this, Kahlua. Hang on a second. I'm using my Photoshop skills to do rotoscoping in After Effects. Alright, hang on. So I just need to make sure that this thing is always... There we go. Oh.
It's Kahlua paid me to say, bro, your big fat zibbies are out again.
Ah, that was because of Incineroar. Incineroar stole my shirt. Alright, hang on a second. So. Alright, I'm keeping an eye out for the purple. For, like, the sections, so, like, no, that's fine. And then, there's, like, somewhere in the center, like, just under his chin, that's gonna, like, glitch out and such. Alright, hang on, I'm gonna go back a few. Because, yeah, alright, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna refine this edge. Oh, cannot be added until the current frame is finished rendering. God damn it. Alright. There we go. There, and then there. Alright, here we go. So, resuming. He incinerated it. Yep, little Incineroar incinerated my shirt. So I'm getting another one printed right now. It's going through the classic like printing phases as well, where I just have like a sweatshop over in Bowen Hills that's just like grabbing a shirt, dumping it in fucking ink, and then just going shake, shake, shake in the sewers, throws it over to another person to get a paintbrush for Warhammers, and then like just starts like, stenciling on everything, and then it gets rubber bands, and then it gets paper, and then it jumps it in the whatsamahoozies, in these shake, 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 and by 5 minutes later, I got a new shirt. This is a very slow rotoscoping, I will be real with you, but that's probably because of this refining edge moment. All this to get John C. Reilly rotoscoped, so then that way I can just have him with his fucking horse noises and with a greatly refined edge. This is what my 3090 is working on, is rotoscoping. This is what I am using my PC to do, as he makes these weird fucking noises. And I gotta watch out for like any points that are like the purple that is just, deciding to like clip out and what have you. You have a closet full of dozens of copies of the Shame shirt. I legitimately do. Hang on, I gotta go back a few, because... Alright, so... I need to go from Refine to Roto, because that is part of the thing. Alright, and then pause, that's part of the thing. Here we go. Oh, that's part of the thing, and then I gotta go back a frame, that's part of it. That's part of it. Okay, dink. There we go. All this for horse. People get paid to do this at work. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. How's it going? How's it going, Kula? Hello, there was meant to be was meant to be for the ass. Noted. Alright. Look at this John C. Reilly. Hang on. Was there some missing... Hang on. No. Okay, so... You know what? I'm just gonna click this frame by frame. Yep, it's the refine edge that's taking out, like, most of the work and what have you. So, there we go. Now I got all my shirts. Oh, also, if you would like to see something real cool, I have got even more shirts available. So, I'm going to be playing with Unnamed, Friday for them, Saturday morning for me. Really early Saturday morning. And I have got myself... Ta-da! I got myself Ultramarines. I've also got myself the Dark Angels. I've got new shirts. Even more shirts to take off. New thank yous. Ding dong. Normal zoom. Alright. Ding. All this for John C. Reilly. All for his luscious locks. Thousands of frames. like, this is like what, 30? Yeah, this is like 32 seconds of footage rotoscoping for what's Mahoozies. Also, hang on. That. Hi there, Valkyrie! Welcome to the stream! Space Marines 2 hype? Yes! Space Marine 2 hype. I will... So, hopefully, I don't sleep in or anything like that, because I will be waking up early Saturday my time to play Space Marine 2 with Unnamed, so hopefully I don't disappoint them. I will most likely give people John C. Reilly making horse. No, I am definitely going to give this to Fiona. If this is a good rotoscope, this would be worth giving to Fiona. Like, I wonder if she would appreciate it. Just the John C. Reilly. I thought it was coming out on, like, the 8th or something. So, fun fact. Thanks to not eating as much, saved up money, and I was able to purchase an early access copy of Space Marine 2 by going for, like, the most expensive fucking model, because Unnamed was just like, Grant, you gotta play with me. You gotta play with me, Himbo Zeebs. It's gonna be great. We're gonna play so much together. You're gonna love Warhammer. You're gonna think Xenoses are all shit. You're gonna absolutely love it. Come on, you're gonna play Warhammer with me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll have a think about it. Maybe I should put it on my throne, but I wasn't too sure. So then I purchased it. You know what Unnamed did? Unnamed got it gifted to them. They got the fucking thing gifted to them. I paid full price. Also, I just realized, hang on, filter and crops. There we go. You don't need to see all that nonsense at the bottom there. All right. Moving on. You're going, Zach? I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much for coming along. I do appreciate it. All right, I'm pretty sure let's see, I'm 26 seconds in of, like... Oh my gosh. Sweet. I pay for all the goddamn expenses in both gigs I run. I sure do feel your pain. What I would give to have, like, a big muscle mommy to, like, pay for my things. I would so be a stay-at-home dad if the muscle mommy could bring home the bed. Also, hi there, Izzy the fat cat. Welcome to the stream. Hey, that's the Angel of Death. You don't remember the names of the stupid logos in 40K? Not to worry. I betcha as a, hang on a second, ding, dong. I bet you as a seasoned Space Marine fan, you would recognize these colors too. I've got, like, 2 shirts. I've got the Dark Angels, and I've got the Ultramarines. I took a test, and the test said I was one of the Dark Angels, so I was being controlled by Lehman Russ. I think his name, or, yeah, Lehman Russ. Also, thank you so much for doing the art. Also, guys, can we get actually, there is no moderators in here. I'm gonna make a clip shout out for Izzy the fat cat, because you know why? Izzy the fat cat, she's an amazing artist, and she, like, let me just, like, have a thingy-majiggy play right now.
This game, but...
Oh, she does Warhammer as well! Or, not Warhammer, the other war one. Gears of War. No, that's the wrong one. Warframe, that's it.
There he is.
Oh, they've changed the UI a little bit for fighting the earlier guys. I remember the UI being a lot shittier. God, it has been a long time since it's been a long time since I played, Grindhammer. Or War Grind, or whatever the fuck the shorthand is. But yeah, so, Izzy the Fat Cat is an amazing artist, and I don't know how many of you will appreciate this, but Izzy has one of the best fucking invoices in the business. Way too often. There are artists that I like, and it's sort of like, oh, hey, I really love your work. Could I commission you for a piece of art? My email address is here, so you can send the invoice through there. And they come back to me, and they'd be like, hey, that's great. That will be $50. Could you send me the money through PayPal using the friends and family option? Like, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. Like, could you, like, use the invoice thing? And they're like, I haven't got that set up. You know what Izzy does? Not only does Izzy have invoices, but they're detailed invoices. You go to Izzy, you go through this Google form, and it's like, hey, do you want to have, like, this kind of art, or that kind of art, or this kind of art? And it's like, hey, I want this kind of art. And they're like, cool, how many characters are there? There's this many characters. Cool, do you have references? Yes, I have references. And then there's a little bit of a chat of like, hey, this is going to be quite costly. And it's like, understandable. And then there's like, hey, maybe I could do a discount because it's not full body as the interpreted norm. And it's like, you know what? That's absolutely appreciated. I very much appreciate this. Thank you so much, Izzy. And then Izzy goes and makes the invoice. And the invoice is itemized. It's not just a, hey, copy-paste conversation thread, or, hey, GrantZeebs wants X. It's like, hi there. It's like, quantity of 2 is a full body art character. Quantity of 1, colored additional, discount for half. It's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Izzy, for completing the invoice and such like that. It is honestly like, it's a thankless thing, but I want to thank you for doing such an amazing, like, it's a very bureaucracy move, but like, it's so important. More horse noises. Right now, I'm just trying to do some rotoscoping rather than playing games. Starts running the numbers. Oh. Oh, it just moved to a new song. Okay, I thought it stopped abruptly. Look at our man. Alright, so we're currently at the 21st... So we're at 21 seconds, and we're waiting for it to get to the... Hang on a second, I gotta also... I gotta... Ooh, it's Yep, cool. It's doing a lot of processing. There we go. There we go. Alright, let's see how we go. I would like to thank my soul-shaking fear of auditors for my painstaking and flawless bookkeeping. Did you know that bookkeeping has, like, 3 double letters? Like, look at that. Also, I should probably, like, keep this running in the background rather than, like, stopping and starting it every time I'm in a conversation. Because, like, quite frankly, I could, like, just do it like this, so then that way... There we go, and then keep it running, keep it running. I kind of want to shoot those Tyranids earlier. It's tempting, isn't it? Look, Valkyrie, I get it, it's tempting. Normally, I don't do pre-orders unless it's, like, a guarantee I will play it. And, like, because I don't normally subscribe to the, hey, let me play a premium to play a few days early. The only reason I'm paying a premium for the few days earlier is because, like, Unnamed wants to play Space Marines earlier, and it's like, you know what, we can play together. And, if we get the thingamadiggy earlier, it comes out basically Friday 4 in the morning for me, which means then that I can play it Saturday with them, rather than waiting until, like, Monday or Tuesday, which is a very lost opportunity, and everyone is already playing Space Marines by then. Oh my gosh, John C. Riley, your hair is fucking curly as fuck. You make it really difficult to go through your whatsamahoozies. Alright. 5 seconds remaining in the processing for him to do his thing. Come on. You can do it. Oh my god, look at... Oh no, he's doing a really quick turn! No!
That's the sound of
horse. Come on, say it. Say the horse. Say horse. Also, I should probably, Alright. So while there's that, and then I need to do... Roto refine, and then I need to do... No, cannot be added until it's finished rendering. Yep, understandable. Could you, like, get it? Yep, cool. Thank you. And then, cannot until it's finished rendering. I want this to end up so good. I really want, like, a really good John C. Reilly. Like, look at this curly fucking hair. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, that looks good. And then... We're waiting for that to render. Cool. And then we add that. Alright. Come on.
That's the sound of horse.
Horse. Come on. Show me the horse. Show me the horse, so then that way I can just do the, like, you know, because, like, it will block a bit of your face, and it will just be an obvious square. Come on. Show me horse. Show me horse. Hi there, Exa Jamie. Welcome to the stream. I'm just doing some rotoscoping. Oh, hang on. I need to fix that. Hang on. So, not the refine edge, but the roto brush. There we go. Yep. Come on.
That's the sound of horse.
Horse. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Don't panic. You can go through this. Please don't crash. Okay, this is it. He's gonna say horse. He's gonna say horse. Oh my god. Come on. Come on. Come on. Show me horse. Show me horse. Yes! There we go. There's the fucking horse. All right, hang on. Ding dong ding. Oh my god, until it's finished rendering. Cool, awesome. There we go. Alright, and then that's going to do some processing, and then I'm going to remove the refined edge here. I wish there was a way to, like, change the size. There probably is a way to change the size of the brush. Hang on a second. Window. Brushes. There we go. So we go 33 pixels. There we go. That way I can just be like, Yep, there we go. That way it's a hard edge. And then I can add it here. And there we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. I've been putting so much time into this. Come on. The rotoscoping is almost there. I just need to have it like committed to memory. This is like I have to do this thing called cache and lock the rotoscope and refine edge portions. So there he is there. 80 to 90% of the GPU is being used. About 34 or like megabytes of RAM is being used. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Pause. Freeze. Alright, hang on. So hopefully this won't. Oh, shit. Did you just break? Oh, don't tell me it's doing the... Is it reducing the amount of memory, or is it increasing the memory count? Okay, cool. It is freezing the frames. Cool, it's freezing the frames. It didn't crash. It's freezing the frames. This is so then that way we don't have to, like... It doesn't, like, you know, take forever to, you know, do the thingamadiggy I want to do. Alright, so... This is gonna be good. I swear to you, it's gonna be worth it. But yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful... Actually, can we get a shout out for... Is anyone moderators in chat? Hello? Hello? Moderators?
Hello.
Hello? Can we get a shout out, please, for Valkyrie Nixia? Right now, I'm just, like, waiting for the thingy-madiggies to render. So, 10%. Once it hits 11%, I'll then do a... Yeah, 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6. Alright, so it's approximately 6 to 7 seconds. So 6 seconds to a percentage, which means we need another 95. It looks like we're 85. We're about to need 85%. So 6 times 8 times 10 is 48, so 480, and then times by 5 is 30, which means 510 seconds to go through, like, the rest of this rotoscoping nonsense. Make it 80,000 times slower, and it will remind me of Blender rendering of animation inside. I've used Blender before. I don't like that kind of long. I'm not a fan of renders taking a long time. Like, if I've got a 3-minute animation, I don't want to wait more than 3 hours for it. I want to wait 30 minutes for a 3-minute animation. That is the limit. I don't want to have to, like, wait fucking forever for animations. This is why I use Eevee so much, is because it's like, oh, it doesn't give me as much what's-a-mahoozy thing. It gives me what I want, and it gives me my zebra in animation. But yeah, there he is. John C. Reilly making horse noises. All I can say is that 15-second animation was rendering, you ran the calculations, and then just calmly said, see, okay. Hang on, I can do this. Okay, then, see you in 16 hours. Nice. Alright. You know what I forgot to get? I forgot to get a bottle of water. Hang on a second. I need to get my bottle of water. Chat, keep an eye on the roto brush caching, okay? Keep an eye on it, alright? Also, while I'm gone, I will give you a little fun mambo dance. Like, look at that. Alright, I'm back. Ugh. I got my water bottle. Alright. Alrighty, how's it going, chat? We didn't break anything? No, we didn't. We just have to wait. We're not even halfway there. Jesus, John C. Riley. Why'd you have to get such curly hair? Like, I understand you're in, like, a blank area, but, like, fuck's sake, I still need to rotoscope you, because I can't just use a black background, can I? I'm gonna use some transparency with this video. But yeah, it is what it is. Also, sorry, is Kahlua still here, or have I embarrassed Kahlua? Has Kahlua looked and just sort of been like, oh my gosh, why did I meet this person for boba tea? He couldn't dap for if he could save his life, and now he's like waiting for thingy-madiggies to be rendered and what have you, rather than just, you know, pumping weights at the gym. Look at this face. I swear to you, this will be worth it. But yeah, I went for not planning for a particular game tonight because Yakuza has kind of been grinding, like it's kind of been waning on me. Like I liked the novelty of playing the Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 1, but as I was going through Yakuza 4, I was kind of just like, I don't know. Like, even with different characters, the combat, like, other than the Sanji character at the start, who was really fun for me, other than him, like, the combat, it was just starting to irk on me, because it was the same thing ever since 0 slash, like, 1, and I was not interested in, like, the difficulty curve we were getting. I was way more interested in just, you know, having my power fantasy for the games that were that old. I know this thing here. I see it. I see this thing doing this stuff. I don't really want to stop this right now, considering it's going to take, like, 10 minutes for this thing to go through the full thing, and if I cancel it now, that's, like, 5 minutes gone. And I'm like, nah, you're right, actually, stop. Alright, I need to unfreeze. Alright, where did it go? It was around about here. Now comes the fun bit. Come on. You can do it. It's trying to go through so much it's going through, like, so much refined edge propagating. Oof. I jumped ahead to, like, 6 seconds, and it needs to, like, process up to that, like, this 10 to 6 second mark. Range and direction of automatic propagation. Nice. Oh, come on, I didn't jump that far ahead, did I? 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like... Alright, so it was around about... It's gonna come up. There comes a point where it's sort of where the hair splits in two. Come on, show me the split. 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 You were there when we were freezing the frames. Where are you now? I just realized what you were meaning by that. Hi there, Vel. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing a rotoscoping of John C. Reilly making horse noises. Come on. Is he... Did I go too early? Is that what... Anyway, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do... Like, I'm trying to do this. Leave it to render for a bit, okay? And then it will do its thing, alright? Hi there, Peach. Welcome to the stream. God damn, he has such curly fucking hair. Is it gonna work is the question. Exactly what a horse sounds like. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm getting this into like a high quality thing. So then that way I now have John C. Reilly, and it's gonna be like a small chance where, you know, when you do the hello there and such, rather than it being all the different Star Wars hellos, there's going to be a moment where you're gonna have John C. Reilly decide to make horse noises as a greeting. Oh, edge propagating error. Now comes the part where the edge propagating error has to, like, you know, go through all of its nonsense. Look at him go. Look at him do his best. Isn't there, like, a way for me to, like, go through this bar, like, in its entirety? Like, hang on a sec. There must be a way for me to be able to, like... Prefer 5 of Steve Boole noises. Check it out. He's rendering so hard right now. Oh, so hard! So, like, it's all because of the edge propagating right here, as you can see. Actually, color me curious. File, project settings. Alright, so the video rendering and effects are done via the Mercury GPU CUDA cores. I hope it is? GPU accelerated effects may render with small color precision differences on an ABC. The thing is the CPU only. Set the project to 16 or 32 for accurate results. File. Edit. Preferences. Here we go. Alright, here we go. So, startup and repair. So we can empty the cache, previews, display, import, output, grid, labels, media, and disk cache. Okay, so the disk cache is doing its thing. I got my Adobe database and cache. Video preview. New projects. Installed RAM. RAM reserved for other applications is 12 gigs. Yep, sounds good to me. Enable multi-frame rendering. 10% of the CPU reserved for other applications. I love how this computer is just like, no. We don't want to know how much we can use. We want to know how much you want to leave for everyone else. Oh my goodness. Look at him rendering as hard as he can. All right, hang on a second. At least we'll go with this, because then we can at least get, like, the slowdown noises and such. Good lord. You know what the worst part is? I'm probably not gonna save this composition. I'm gonna do this once. It's gonna be done on the stream, and I'm gonna be like, I don't have to think about this any further. This is a thing going at 29 frames a second. This is what I have him doing. Ah! Oh. Imagine living that dangerously, where you're just like, oh, let me just let me just what's Mahuzi? We'll start after entire cases thingy. Like doing everything that I can, but then it's just like, all right, are we done? Cool, we're done, and then just closing everything. There's nothing saved. If I need to do this again, we're starting from the beginning. Alright, let's have a look. So, 307 now. So yeah, and the whole reason was so then that way I had, like, a good feather on his, hair. This curly mon-fucking-strosity. Alright, so there he is there. It's not great when the program decides to play the same sound twice. Play audio and preview. Alright. Let's see how long so once it gets to the 23-second mark, I'm gonna see how long it takes to get to like halfway through to the 24-second mark. So I got my mouse over the thingy-majiggy. Alright, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It takes about like 15 seconds for it to go through half a second of footage because of all this feathering that I've done, which I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of people probably would have been fine with the feathering if this was just gonna be used for shit posts. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be fucking tense. Horse. Come on, say a horse. Say horse. You don't need... Yeah. There's a lot of good feathering on the right side than there is on the left, I'm gonna be real with you. Although I am annoyed by the use of the icon that because of the video presentation that was there. Alright. Almost there. Almost there, chat. Who wants John C. Reilly's horse noises when I'm done with it? So, because I'll get it, because I'll export it as like a as an MP4 or a WebM. Actually, no, I can't export it as a WebM because it doesn't know the WebM format. Yeah. What are What are some games I can play after this, though? Because I'm gonna be real, this is a very slow... This is a slow thing to run through. Not a lot of people are probably going to appreciate, you know, horse. Damn it, I thought I could time it to the thingamadiggy here as he said horse, but it looks like it didn't. Horse. There we go. And then... File. Composition. Oh, there was the pre-render there. Uh-oh.
Does the sound of horse.
Alright, file, export, add to media, and can...
Does the sound of horse.
Horse. Alright, Okay, I'm gonna actually need to save this composition, I'm sorry. Save as...
Does the sound of horse.
Horse.
Does the sound of horse.
Match source. Adaptive high bit rate. Hopefully that's better. Alright. Hopefully that's better. Using Mercury playback CUDA. Alright. -U. Alright. Hopefully this will go well. Here we go. So, target 15.2 megabits per second. Alright, looks to have done it relatively quickly. Where's the horse? 29.9 megabytes. Yep, alright, I think that's worth it. Alright, I'm gonna give that to Kahlua just in case they want it. Where's Kahlua? Kahlua! There, I found Kalua's thingamadoogies. The project, was written on. Alright. Studio mode, and then... full screen effects? No, it's not gonna be in full screen effects. It's gonna be in the core overlays thing, where we're gonna have a hello message. Nope, it's not that one. It's the, where is it? Where did I put the hello video? Squat, the 30-minute timer, the predictions, the TTS spot, the throne reminder. I thought they made a loud beep noise. They either bark, bray, or snort. That's what I heard at the checkout when you scan them anyways. Alright, looks like there's a limiter. Alright, so. Oh, someone's going fishing. Mm-hmm. What the fuck did you get? Oh, you got a blue whale! Amazing work, Sir Dragon! Where is the thingy-majiggy? So, audio video filters. Where the fuck is horse? Render, is it loop? Oh no, it's chroma key. There we go. So it's chroma key on the green. There we go, that looks good. That doesn't sound too bad, does it? Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. You're getting timed out for that, aren't I? No, why would you? Alright. Now the next question is if I do a different hello there, is it gonna have problems? Not with that one. Okay. What about hello there here? No, it looks like the green screen effect is fine. It's not gonna have a huge problem. Yay! Alrighty then, we got that out of the way, chat. We got that one done. Ugh, excuse me. Alright, and now I need to update my thingamajiggy to... Alright, so the actions... where's my hello there? It should be sound alerts? Hello there. So it sets a random video. So it sets a randomized video, so... Duplicate the actions, so instead of being the Obi-Wan, it's going to be instead... Control-C, Control-V, Hello there, 720p's, okay. There we go. Alright. That will be ready for anyone. I am also going to send this to Verona. Alright, I'm giving Fiona the horse video. Give me a second. Hopefully she don't get mad. No! No, 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 no! Hi there, Jack. Welcome to the stream. Hi. Alrighty then. I did not have anything properly planned for this stream besides, you know, just asking how everyone is. How you doing? Hi there, Jack. Welcome to the stream. Are you working right now, or have you been able to be like, fuck this shit, I'm out? Color me curious. Color me curious. Lend me your ear. You saw atrocities committed at work. What, like genocide? That's my first guess. I've actually been going through, work for me has been like a bit of a funkies because we had to like help some people out in our marketing department with Adobe, and it is just settled in my mind how little I like Adobe in a corporate environment. It is not great. It doesn't do like an amazing job when it's like, oh, I need to like, you know, manage digital assets, but I also need to make assets available for other people to work on. They're like, oh, we can have some assets for you to work on, but please don't take it as a digital asset manager. That's not the point of the Creative Cloud libraries. And it's like, why would you bother doing that? You wanted to take a medical leave, but your superior had to take a last-minute urgent leave for family stuff. Oof. That's some oofies. I'm sorry to hear about that. I'm sorry to hear that, like, the boss is deciding to be like, oh, you know what? My emergency is more important than your emergency. That was rude of him. Alright, minimize that. What is a video, like, what do I want to do today? Like, because there's so many things that would be nice. Like, because here's the thing, is like, hang on, ding, dong, back to the play area. It's like, I feel kind of like, I kind of feel like I want to try and alter this area. Like, I want to try and come up with, like, a new overlay for my zebra, because, like, or not for my zebra, sorry, for my streams. Because, you know, I like being able to, I like having this seamless mode. Never mind, there's advertisements going off, so I don't know who's going to be watching these things. I know Jason is at the very least, because Jason is a subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. I don't know if Vilk, Sir Dragon can see it, which is great. Peach can see it, which is fantastic. Sound off. Who can hear me? Alright, sound... Who's not dead? Sound off. Alright. Hands... Hi there, Nova. Thank you, Sir Dragon. Yep, cool. Hey, Jack can as well. Nice work. All right, but yeah. So I had this thought of like having like a different setup for like maybe for like going forward in the games area, rather than having this like seamless thing that I've got going on right now. It's very tempting to like, you know, reduce the size of the game area. So rather than it being a case of like, oh, you know, me and the chat are interrupting it right now, maybe it would be a... What the fuck? A raid? What in the world, Ethereum? What are you doing here, Ethereum? A raid from the Size Squad? Hi, hello, welcome to this stream, everyone. Saishura, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are. My name is Grant. I'm a variety himbo streamer. I go through normally either games that I'm very much vested in going through that are brand new, or I go through like a series of games that are like nostalgia franchises. So I went through Kingdom Hearts one year. I've been going through Yakuza, but I kind of want to take a break from that. And like Mass Effect and all those, like I've gone through all kinds of different games that are like, oh, it's in my backlog, and a lot of people say it's fun. Let's play it. You like the artboard? Thank you, Sebastian Dingo. This is an artboard of like all the different gifted art that has been given to me. Actually, let me get out of the way so then that way you can see the art in its full splendor. So this is gifted art. So now some of it might be of a different quality to others. That's because they are all done by different people of different experiences. But you know what? I love all of them, okay? I am not an artist myself. I very much appreciate whenever anyone sends me art, as you can see. We got some fun photoshops. We got a lovely little, like, you know, pixel thingy-majiggy. The two in the middle and the bottom left are your favorite. The gimme hats and the flexing in the bottom middle there? Or do you mean like the himbo in the direct middle and then bottom left directly? You love the burger one? The burger one is a good one. That was actually probably one of my the burger one was probably one of the first gifted ones, but the truest, like the truest first one, it's over on the far left there. It's over on the far left there. The mullet mohawk, me in a green shirt with the shaggy pants and the not so like strong himbo flex. That one on the far left, middle left. So all the way to the left, in the middle between the two. That one was my first gifted art. I love it. This one behind me is slightly bigger. This one was done by Sashera and features multiple streamers. So some of you might recognize, if you are followers of Code the Yoshi over here, being a dancer. You got Dazzy, the King of Kobolds, over there. You've got me as a monk, and there's someone here like dealing with a kobold or something like that. The himbo flex and the one on the right, then the bottom left one. Ah, okay. And the one to the right. Okay, yeah, so the one on the right was done by I Like Butts, and the one on the bottom left was done by Angrel. You're not artistically gifted. The best I could do is mess around with free-to-use templates, much respect to the artist, regardless of skill or style. That's the point of this drawing board. Actually, let me disappear, because the one right behind me, as you see there, that one was done by one of my viewers, Popcat, and they were like, they showed it to me and they deleted the file, but I was able to recover it, and like, I don't know if you guys can pick on this, but actually get closer. So it's a zebra, as you are no doubt aware, but it's a zebra that, you know, doesn't have a mohawk and has green eyes instead of blue. My eyes are blue. So yeah, there's different levels of art on this board, and all of them I absolutely adore equally. Some of them are not perfect, as you can tell, but they are all ones that I love. It's like a parent when they get a piece of art from their children. They're like, you know what? This goes on the fridge. So yeah. Maybe at one point, instead of putting it as a cork board, I'll do it as like a fridge thing. So then that way it's like this goes on the fridge. So then that way there's like layers to it and what have you. But that would take a lot of work. So you can relate to simplified details. When you color some furs, you end up having to trim some details if they're beyond your skill level. Fair enough. Understandable. Oh, Zatherum, if you need to like unwind and de-stress and everything like that after going through Star Trekkers, I totally understand. You go and do all that nonsense, and I will do my best to try and occupy your viewers to the best of my abilities. Alrighty then. Where is my Steam? Let's have a look at the things we can play and the things we can do. We're not going to be playing War Thunder. Hey, Faded! Why'd you gotta steal my shirt? Look, chat, that's mine in the bottom middle. It's this one here, like the double arm flex, right? That's your one? Hang on a second. I'm gonna have to move my zebra. Hang on a second. You're talking about this one here, right? This one right here. The flex are perfect for by September. Oh yeah. So yeah, and then hang on. And then this one here was done by Angrel. Sorry, not by. So this one here, the Naked Zeebs, is done by Zarin Art. This one was done by Simon Moo or Angrel. Sour Cream. Leon Hart for the Christmas one. Hang on, let me eat. Let me just make myself bigger. There we go. No troubles there. This one was done by Leon Hart, and then wait, hang on. Is there a way for me to this camera move tilt not because it's still a blank. All right, cool. Ding dong. Hang on, I'm gonna have to fix my cameras at one point. Hang on, ding dong. Chatting. No, this. No. Yeah, actually, this one. This one will be good. All right, so and then no. Sorry, I had to do that, Jack. Look at that snake. It's like also look at it. Hang on, let me just zoom in. Look at this. Help! They trapped me on the board! They trapped me on the board! Hang on a second. Is there like a little thingy-majiggy? So, hang on. So, menu. So, all the thingy-majiggy. So, ding, dong, miscellaneous. Position gizmo. Okay, so you can see the move. You can see the rotate gizmo, so that's not great. Positions. Chatting. So, default position. Gaming is all the way over here. Chatting was all the way over here. So I used to have it as like the positions were the thing. And then, what does this do? Yep, alright, fair enough. New floor lighting. Alright, let me hide that. There we go. And then... And then we go back to the gaming camera. Gonna move you over here, so then that way you're not in the way. So yeah, so I have gone through a lot of Yakuza. It doesn't 100% like it's not I can't keep going with it at the pace that I'm going with it right now. I kind of want to play like other games like for tonight as well. I mean, RGB lights is the hit gamer thing, so the rotate tool gives you new floor lighting. Oh, that's what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about. Okay, that makes sense. Understandable. That makes way more sense. All right. But yeah, so I don't want to go through more Yakuza tonight. I think. Actually, you know what? Let's do a guilty pleasure game. Let's do a guilty pleasure game called Crab Champions. We're gonna fuck around in like Crab Champions because it's just a silly little like what's a Muhuzi thing. Refresh this. Ding dong. So Crab Champions. Alright. Alright, so this is the crab, and he's got an arrow. Alright, so that's his thing. So he's got the crossbow that fires in a wide arc. I haven't unlocked that one yet. Alright. Also, is the game not... Oh, it's not showing up. Hang on a second. There we go. Now it will show up. Alright. Oh, abilities. How do I use abilities? You can't pick up. You haven't unlocked the abilities yet. Okay, so there's abilities that I cannot use. And there's melee weapons. 360 with heavy knockback. Fast but limited range, slow but powerful, cracks the ground to create damaging quakes. Alright, so, and then that's us going through it quickly. So yeah, right now I'm in an easy lobby. So you can join a multiplayer, or you can do mini games. Portal can't be used in single player. Survive as many waves as possible without getting hit. Alright, those are mini games, but let's go through a new run. Also, while that is happening, I should probably pause my... Okay, cool. So it's not like a terrible speed. It's not a terrible damage when it's... Ooh. Also, I forgot my mouses. There we go. And I didn't lose any health with that one. Nice. Alright, so we got a choice between dealing more damage for each bullet remaining in the magazine. Shots tend to stick to enemies and deal more damage, but there's a short delay before damage is dealt. Increasing the damage to armor seems like the better... That seems like the overall better option if we have to deal with them. Challenge, elemental, and health. Alright, let's go with you. Oh, I fucked up on that one. The fuck hit me? Oh, fuck you. There we go. Alright, the damage. So we got blue explosions. Shots are more damaging. Damage increases the number of your equipped parts are an even number. I don't want that. Delete and elite. Wait for... get an epic chest. Let's go with an elite. Let's deal with the elite. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was a crazy looking elite. Alright. Is there any more thingamajiggies for me to... Oh, there we go. More things for me to shoot. I've been getting yelled at to play this game by a friend for a while, but never have. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, oh, hang on. I need to pick up something. Link shot. Chance for shots to burst into 3 links on impact. Melee poisons enemies. Fire mace balls along with your shots. Let's go with the mace balls. I wonder how that's gonna go. And then we're gonna go for luck-based. Also, oh, shit. Thank you. Damage increase when at a high health. Excellent, that's me at a high health. Alright, so they do their jump. That's how they want to operate. Nice, 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 nice. Alright. Chance to instantly reload after eliminations. Gain ammo when dealing damage. Destroy destructible rocks has a greater chance to spawn loot. Absolutely. Damage, elemental. Alright, let's keep going for damages. Let's keep on going for, like, you know, hitting things hard. Oh, we must be getting close to, what's in the boozy? Man, these guys want to, like, really jump me, don't they? Fuck you, ants. Also, is that a... Oh, okay. There we go. I got a cool green, skin. But yeah, this is like Risk of Rain a little bit. Like, you just start, like, getting all these additional thingamajiggies. Alright, so we got recoil shot, we got the glue explosion. Shots deal more damage, but clip size is reduced. Shots deal more damage, but recoil is... Alright. None of these are worse, so I'm gonna salvage them, just so I can get the thingamajiggies for the shop. Alright. There we go, pick up more biddies. Alright, so, right now... So I do like 200 damage. What's this? Heal is more effective. So that's an infinite amber resin. Also, this is Tony, the shopkeeper. Tony is resting in his cave for now, but he will greet you with his usual charm in future versions of the game. Nice. Deals more damage for each shot you hit in a row without missing. Melee range increases. Increases maximum health. Alright, so pick that up. And then... There we go. I've got like 90... Alright, this level 7. Healing... You heal after clearing each island. Increases damage, fire rate, and reload speed. Bounce around to deal more damage after each bounce. Abilities spawn sentries turrets when exploding. Oh. Kinda. Hang on. So, those are my 2 weapon mods. Do they explode? No, they don't explode. So I've got increasing at high, destroying has a 5% chance, and then this is doing the heals. Alright, so what's this? Get an extra chest for triple the enemy spawns on the next island, which is an elite. Enhance a random compatible mod or perk. Gain 93 E-crystals, but lose 20... Sounds good. Oh, this thing did not think through. Don't have enough health? Bullshit, I do now. Oh, I didn't like the fact that I was, like, getting so much. Alright, cool. Now I got way more. Alright, we're gonna buy... So that's 1... it adds 15%. Okay, so sentry turrets deal... It's on explosion, I guess? Alright, so then we got bouncing. I'm gonna get the juiced, because that's honestly a good one, and then that because of the healing aspect. Alright, now comes the fun bit. Extra chest, but triple the damage spawn on that. Yeah, because we have to deal with 3 elites. Oh boy! Here it goes, here it goes, here it goes! So that should be Thingamadiggy 1. Oh! My grenades spawn a turret! Okay. So that counts as an explosion then. Oh, but the... Oh, come on, come on. Did it. There we go. Nice. Awesome, and we get ourselves, like, so many fucking chests. Alright, increased health, gain armor plate that reduces elemental damage back and blocks 1 hit regardless of the... Alright, go with the bronze heart. Abilities explode into giant drills, transfer links. Chance to fire slow damaging waves along with the thingamajiggies. Explode. Let's go for more bullet nonsense. Gain 1 at the start of every 3 islands. Chance to lob explosive pumpkins along with your shots. Increases for every 50 health you have. I'm gonna go with the pumpkin shot. I'm gonna go with shit giving me explosions. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for, like, you know, shit going crazy as explosions go off. What's this? Get a random, but lose 25% of your health? Yes, please. Alright, where is the rest of them? Where's the... Oh, there they are. Alright, so the shots are bigger, but things are a little bit slower. Alright, let's have a look. So we got bouncing bullets. Alright. I don't use my melee that much. Enemies explode into a random elemental damage area when eliminated. Oh, easy enough. Especially since I can do the wave nonsense. There we go. slugs at range. Oh, what the? What did that? There we go. Alright, where's the next one? Oh, there's the slugs. Go. Yay! Alright. That's 2 economy chests. The economy chests, if we get good, like, money makers, shops contain more goods for sale. I gain more crystal. Gain... Okay, that one's a good one. The money shot, like, absolutely. Enemies eliminated at close range deal more crystals. Enemies drop more crystals. Alright, let's go for... If they're up close, I think that's better. Get the finish line as fast as possible for the best reward. I don't have a lot of speed on my side. Survive a horde. Or the elements. Alright, let's go with the random chest. So, like... I just need to avoid getting hit, and I'm good. Oh, no, 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 not... Oh, you mother... Yeah, no, that's me hit. That's the double bomb. Oh! Interesting. There's thingy-majiggies here. Oh, because there was a chance of them. Alright, oop, hang on, oop. Endurance increases that to level 2. Yes, please. And melee ignites enemies. I will accept that. Those are some good drops. Damage increases to nearby. Heal when damaging. You gain crystals after clearing each island. Let's have the bullets heal me. Another economy, another health. Enemy spawns spike strikes when eliminated. Yep, let's go for the double the chest. This is early. These are early hits. We need the addition. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck you, launcher. Also, what the fuck is, like, turning me into ice? Is it you guys? Yeah, it's probably you guys. There we go. Alright, I need to increase my, I need to increase the damage I can do to armor to get through those guys quicker. Full metal jacket, spiral, but moves in a spiral. Abilities deal more damage, but move in random patterns. I don't want to deal with randomization. Though if I'm up close, it doesn't matter. Deal more damage for each shot you fire in a row. Deals more damage if you fire right as slow. Sharpshoot. Random chests and arena. Critical and speed. Let's go for criticals. I think criticals will do better. Oh. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, so that's what the slugs do. Okay. There we go. A chaotic grub. Not be chaotic? Cool, thank you. And then hammer. Oh yeah, there's a chance for me to get, like, loot when I break these things, so... It's worth doing. Alright. Ring of Wisdom. Critical hits increased by 1% after clearing each island. Increase critical hits... Alright. We're gonna go for this relic. That's a good relic. Because that makes it so that it's beneficial to do the, And we've got ourselves 1,200 crystals. Alright. Ignite nearby enemies when breaking enemy armor. Yep. So, where was the igniting enemies? Flammable deal applies 25 fire stacks and has a 20% larger. Okay. Damage increase to nearby foes. Sure. For each perk level that you have. Incoming. Deal more of a zigzag. Silver heart. Deals more damage while airborne. Not really that good. Cost to enhance a random. Pumpkin shot has been increased. Blue explosion. I'm gonna salvage you because I don't really like the idea of a delayed explosion. Now, how do you hit? Pretty good, pretty good. Incoming damage reduced. Oh, yeah, actually, let's go for that one. Alright, let's defeat the elite here. Try, crabs. There we go. Alright, key chest. Thank you for the key. Damage increase for every hit 50 health you have. Chance to get an extra chest after clearing each island. Yep, let's go for double vision. Increase health and bronze armor. Let's go for the bronze armor. Let's increase our armor. I'm curious how... Oh, bees! Okay. Oh wait, oh wait, oh baby. There must be a way for me to, like, quote-unquote gain armor rather than only having the the what's-in-the-koozies. Alright, thank you. Alright, let's have a look. Wind up, sharp shot. Abilities deal more damage. Yep, let's just go for classic increase of ability damage. And... economy, health. Alright, let's go for another economy one to make it so that we can really fuck up the store. Oh, another beat, another beat. There we go. Fuck you, beat. What the fuck? Starfish? Go. Alright, let's have a look at the economy. Gain crystals after clearing each island. How much is Money Shock giving me? Gain 1 crystal when damaging enemies. Total crystals gained 192. So I have not gained a lot with it yet. So let's go with the... Let's go with flawless, go with luck. Alright, let's increase our luck. Oh. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no, not the grenade ninjas. Sorry, not ninjas. Grenade crabs. I don't know why I thought they were ninjas. Did you want to hear about the atrocity you've seen today? Ooh! A little atrocity, you say? Do speak to me about this atrocity. Also, grenade. There we go. Oop. do tell me of the atrocity while I try and deal with this shotgun. There we go. Go. And that's the island cleared. Payback gave me 1. Ring of Wisdom gave me another thing. Critical arrow. Chance for a critical hit to fire damaging arrows. Yes, please. And what are you? Yep, gain some crystal. Absolutely. Chance to destructible, greater chance to spawn loot. Yep, let's increase that destructible. Gain ammo while dealing damage. Yep. What's the 2-timer one? Enemies can be eliminated in 1 hit, but so can you. Alright, let's risk it. Especially since we've got shields and a, you know, turret to help us out. Yeah! Ooh, Jesus, what the fuck was that? There we go. Fuck. Yes, that was gonna be a tricky one, but we didn't use any of our shields, and... you know. Alright, what are the chances of destructible things, like, giving us... where is it? Where is it? Ding, where are you? You're somewhere around here. So, sentries deal 64 points of damage, increasing the damage. Vitality. Driller, here we go. Destroying a destructible rock has a 14% chance to spawn loot. Chance is shared between teammates. Mishandling a handsaw. The intern asked the customer to hold on to an item so he could saw some length off so they could fit it in their car. He did not use a stable surface or a table to saw. He was sawing it with human-only arm strength as a support. Oh! Oh! Yep, let's go for the healing shot. Maximum health increase when making purchases at shop. For drop health pickups. Alright, let's go with value customer. Enemies spawn in pairs. Let's go with that one. Oh, come on. Oh. Go. Increase damage for the melee. Yes, please. Increase the thingy. Oop. A lesser chest. Thank you. So that's how. So they're just available whenever. I should have tried to figure out how to, like, jump to it. Alrighty, let's have a look. Damage chest. Big abilities. Abilities are larger and deal more damage, but move more slowly. Alright, let's increase the power of our turrets. Damage increases every time you take damage. 70. Let's just salvage that. Alright, what do you give us? Chance to fire high damage bullets along with your shots. Increase depending on your combo. You know what? We've got padding, so let's go with the Alright, here we go. cost for 20 speed random pickup. 25%. Alright, now the question. Do we... No, these things don't look like they want to play. Alright, cool. Alright, what's this? Damage increased by for every one... Yep. Increased damage to nearby. Shoot in an arc format. Maximum health greatly increased, but fall damage is enabled. No thanks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damage increased after every 5 one-shot eliminations. Huh. Thank you, Peach! There we go. Bronze heart. Alrighty. How much damage do we do? Alright, once we get... Alright, here we go. Oh, here we go. This is gonna be a tough one. Nice. Got him. Healing chest, let's have a look. Bronze armor or bronze heart? I think I have a thing where if my health is higher, then full metal jacket increases when at high health. So when at 85% or higher, healing is 50% more effective. Heal 150 after each damage. At close range, thingy. Drop 10% more per combo. My current combo is 40%. Applying armor. 2% for each perk that you have. Incoming is reduced to get an extra clearing. Gain after each island. Maximum health increased by 15 when making purchases at shops. Turret increased by 100. Damage increased per combo. Alright, let's go for bronze, because we're almost at like 1,000 points, and we'll just keep getting more. Damage increased by for every... Let's go with the drill shot. Let's go with, like, more things. Alright. Here we go. There's the blocker. More destructible environment. There we go. Oh, I absolutely messed up. So I need to increase my... There we go. Alright. Bounce and deal more damage. Slower rate of fire. Alright, let's go with that. Arena, economy. Enemies spawn with armor. Alright. This is not the end of the world, because I have given myself an ability where breaking armor pierces will just, you know... Breaking armor pierces will just do a stack of fire, and I am firing so fucking much! Go. Alright, let's see. What do we upgrade? Mace. Damaging explosion. Alright, let's go with the mace. Increase when picking up thingies. Yep. Damaging chest against Horde, a random chest. Ooh! We're gonna go for a relic. Oop. Almost lost my cool there. Yeah! Fucking-incredible. So much destruction. Alright, let's see. What do we get in our relic? Let's have a look. Rate of fire increases by 3% for every island cleared. Heal 10% of your health each time you parry. Let's increase that rate of fire. No, I got hit already. Bronze armor. And bronze heart, actually. Explosive enemies. Let's go with the exploding enemies. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, more fishing? I like that you're here, Sebastian. Thank you for sticking around after the raid. I really appreciate it. Sorry that I'm not, like, super chatty. I am just very engrossed into this game. It is weirdly fun. It is honestly so much fun. It is so much fun. Hopefully the album is a banger for everyone. There we go. And we get double the chest. Alright. First item. Alright, what's the infinite? Shoots in an arc format. Are larger and deal more damage, but much more slowly. Shots bounce around and deal more damage. Turrets increase damage. Gain more max health from hearts. Splitting blades. Ability spawn when exploding. Heal after. That's not really that great. Snake shot and damage increases with higher vitality. I will go with that one. Oh yeah, that's some good damage. Pumpkin shot. All right, let's go against the boss. God damn, he does damage. Come on, keep the combo going. There we go. Rock and roll. Key. And a key. More destructive crystals and hard rock spawn. That's what I like to see. Healing. Increase by 100. Legendary chest. Let's have a look. gain an armor plate at the start of each island. Abilities. Shots that hit and have spawned powerful missiles that seek out nearby enemies. Alright, let's go for the regenerating armor, because that's honestly going to be celebrate your victory or loop back to the beginning. Let's loop back to the beginning. This is fun. Let's see how crazy. Oh yeah, my shots bounce. I forgot that's a thing now. Yeah, the next time we get to the boss or something or other, we will probably end this run and we'll see how everything is. Yeah, look at this. Get a win with a crossbow on any difficulty, get a win with a claw on any difficulty, get a win with a grenade on any difficulty. Nice, so they've updated the abilities being from grenades. Abilities deal more damage but move in random patterns. Shots bounce around and deal more damage. Sure, let's go for the bounce. Deal for each fire until stopping fire. Abilities deal more damage but have a smaller explosion radius. Yeah, I'm fine with that one. Elemental explosives for spiked chests, no thanks. Chest containing damage, chest containing crits. Damage. I just like games that are like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of a difficulty at the start, but then you have like your power fantasies like this. I'm obviously not playing at the hardest difficulty, I will admit that, but come on. This is fun. The amount of bullet nonsense going off. There we go. There we are. Oh, another. Hi there, Crazy Bree guy. I didn't realize you streamed. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Grant. I'm a variety himbo streamer. I didn't have anything planned, so I decided to just do a fun little what's-mahoozies, a fun little game of Crab Champion, because I kind of got tired of Yakuza, and I just wanted some fun power fantasy like this. Look at us go. Oh, alright, we'll save the armor for later. Grenade, deal more damage. Grenade again. Deal with all these fucking things. Yeah! We got hit with damage, I think. Alright, so let's grab the armor. And this is an upgrade to the autoloader. Yes, please. Oh, crabstone thingy-madiggy. You finished fighting a giant lobster in Dave the Diver, so it seems appropriate to raid into Crab Champions. Fair enough. Thank you so much for raiding in here. I greatly appreciate it. If you need to, like, de-stress, unwind, or anything like that, absolutely understand. I hope you had a wonderful time in Dave the Diver. Mag increases after each thingy. Turret damage increases. Alright, let's go for the damage chest next. What the fuck is a limp pit? Here we go. And we have like so. Oh, hammer. That's gonna be a problem. Oh my god, they shoot you up real high. There we go. Alright. Chance to fire high ultra bullets. Sounds good to me. And a damage chest. Equalizer. Damage increase if the number is even. Melee increased. Let's go with the increased amount. I don't use it too often, but we'll see how it goes. Skill chest. Let's go with the skill chest. Let's see how we go. There we go. More bunker. useful, and the upgrade is... Let's salvage you. Steel chest, let's have a look. Crystal fertilizer. More destructive on spawn. Reload. Reloading fires an arc of powerful projectiles. Nah, let's keep on going. Let's go for more and more crystals. Gonna hang around a bit before I turn in for the night. Understand. Alright, fair enough. I hope you have a wonderful sleep. Nathan, I hope Dave the Diver was great. Big Mag. Increases mag size. Yep, cool. Sounds good. There we go. Oh, and we get something. Snake shot. Nah, let's salvage that. Costs to enhance a random compatible. What is this? Shoots when thingy are faster and are less affected by dark. Yep. Ability spawn mortar turrets when exploding. Yep. Gain crystals. Yep. I don't need the silver armor. Let's reroll. Silver heart. Speed is power. Silver. Streamer loot. Higher rarity loot has a greater chance to spawn from chests. I cannot pick it up because I have too many perks. Alright, what are the perks I'm not really using? So damage combo, Sonic Boom, shops have more things for sale, increase after each thing, gain more max health, chance to get an extra loot after clearing an island, increasing the damage reduction, increase for every perk that you have, increase the... I'm gonna get rid of the danger close and the snatcher. So snatcher, pick up the streamer loot, salvage the danger close. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty. That is a lot faster fire rate. Holy shit. The speed. I am definitely going to need a larger mag size when I have a chance. Ooh. Elite firecraft? I think. Ooh. Come on. Not deal with the... There we go, there we go. Still have my combo, which is increasing damage. There we go. Woo! Alright. Healing. Let's have a look. Let's go Bronze Heart. Bouncing Explosion. Gain bonuses and explode on each bounce. Get double chest after clearing each island. Yep, let's increase that chance. And double key. Alright, next arena. Go. Oh my gosh, this other one is going to be so useful. Alright, damage chest. Bouncing bullet, damage combo. Damage increases depending on your current combo. My combo, because of the number of like armor things I have, is not going to go down anytime soon. Yep, let's increase that turret strength. Alright, what's this? Skill, economy. Let's go skill. So it looks like 5 is the highest combo, which, you know, that's okay. I wonder what was the reason for my, you know, combo going up. Because I don't think it's like number of hits without... I don't think it's like number of kills without getting hit, but yeah. Alrighty. Skill chest. Gain an extra portal choice after each island. Explosive enemies deal more damage to a greater radius. Max size increase. Let's see about extra choices. Random chest, damage chest, critical chest. Let's go damage chest, please. Alright, how many people can I shoot? How many was that? I don't know how many that is. Alright. Damage checks. Sharp claws, time bolt. Chance to fire bolts that deal damage over time along with your shot. Reloading damage. Yeah, let's go with the time bolt. Alright, we got the luck chest, we got an elemental, we got a random. And we got an upgrade chest, and we've got... I hope they understand that because I have like double the I hope they understand. I have like double the the turrets, and because all of them just need to do like one good shot. I just need to not die from whatever decides to hurt me. And what's more is defeat all enemies. How many enemies are left? Oh, Jesus. Nice try there. Alright, first upgrade. Yep, money is power. Sevesta Crystal. Sorry about that. Hi there, Queen Pixel Kaiju. I didn't know people were still playing this. It's a guilty pleasure is what it is. This is a guilty pleasure game. Enhanced turrets. Let's go with the drill shot. It's a guilty pleasure sort of game. Random chest and economy. Alright, let's go skill. Also, like, I'm playing on, like, the easiest difficulty right now, so I was able to complete one boss so far, and I'm just having, like, such a wonderful time, and I don't want to leave. Maybe I should have gone for the thing that increases my damage. Enhanced turrets, yes please. But yeah, have you been playing this too, Queen Kaiju Pixel? It's such a fun, silly little game, and they keep doing upgrades to it as well. So, cookie for Sebastian. Here's your cookie, Sebastian Dingo. Cookie. Alrighty. Big mag, claws, crystal fertilizer. All right, let's increase the mag size, because yeah. I shoot this thing. Look how fast it shoots. There we go. Alright, let's see. What's the time shot? Maybe? Maximum health increases after every one-shot elimination. Yep. Abilities are larger and deal more damage, but more slowly. Deal more damage, but so slowly and accelerate over time. Bullseye. Supercharged. Random mods and perks are upgraded to the level every... Ooh, okay. Elemental Expert. Alright, here's... Alright, we gotta... Alright, get rid of you. Maximum increased by 1 after every one shot. Damage increased by 75% when at high health. Destructible rocks. That level up perk. Damage increases to damage based on the number of unique debuffs applied to them. Hi there, Zarix. Good morning to you. How are you? Pick you up. Grab you next. Pick up that bullseye. Oop. 2. Alright. 32% chance. 40. 47. 59. 72% chance. Zero shot enhanced with electrified. There we go. Look at this. Oh my god, hang on. Absolute nutty. Alright, P chest. Thank you for the P. Epic chest. Chance to get a damage increase for every perk level that you have. Let's go with double vision. Abilities deal more damage. Alright, here we go, here we go. Oh, you're excited for the 10th? Is that when, that's your day for when, you can play Space Marine, isn't it? There we go. Alright, double chest, excellent. Damage increase against enemies, I'll take that. I'm gonna go for the skill this one. Hornets as quickly as I can. There we go. Alright, skill chest. Reload, big claws. Crystal fertilizer, yes please. Big mag. Ring of destruction. Reset all cooldowns and reload weapons when destroying destructible rock? Ooh. Yep, let's reset that cooldown. Alright. Eliminate more than 90. So that's for the skill chest. That's for the, yeah, let's go for the skill chest. This is gonna be such a fucking quick one, so... Is there like a little thing that can tell me? Alright, so 1080 is the number of minions that I've killed so far. So I want to try and get that up to... So... Let's try and get to... Oh, might get to there. And... Yep. Looks like we got to it. I think we got to it. Big mag, yes please. Yeah, looks like we got that extra chest. Oh, Critter Crow. Okay, okay. Alrighty, bigger boom, crystal fertilizer, thank you. Big mag. Chests contain 2 more loot choices. Sturdy totems. Totems have more guarantees before they drop. Big mag or crystal fertilizer. Let's go with the big mag, so then that way I'm not reloading as much. Flawless for the economy, yes please. Ah, damn it, I took damage. Well. I'm sorry, but how did... Never mind. Alright, what's this? Heal after every melee. Yep, sure. I don't have a lot of melee buffs, so I'll take 3. Money is power. Money is shot. Shop prices are discounted, but I can't pick up any more. Yep, let's go for money is power. Let's go for more. Mirrored projectiles. Enemies fire projectiles back at you when hit. We're not... I shoot out a lot of projectiles. I am not willing to... I'm not willing to risk that biscuit. Even with, like, my 5 thingamajiggies. I got enough projectiles that go off when... Like, look how quickly this fucker goes. Look at that! Alright. Critical thinking. Critical hits deal more damage, but non-critical hits deal less damage. No thanks. Poison shot, yes please. Who's miss? Oh. Hello, Skull Boy. Where did you go? It's a giant fucking hole. There we go. Fuck you. Alright, why do you... It's there. Alright, let's have a look. Crystal Fertilizer, max combo increased by 3. Will that work? Nope, it did not. Or maybe it's waiting for me to make the combo and then it will go higher. Yeah. Alright, 28 bullets. High caliber, deal more shot, but clip size is reduced. No, thank you. I will salvage you for the money. Alright, what's this? Critical thinking. Blink shot. Abilities explode into damaging bubbles. Enemies take damage when extinguishing fire. Damage increases when at high health. Poison. Health increase. Blink shot. Deal more damage but go in random patterns. Yeah. Alright. Mortality. Incoming damage reduced. Bucket. Ignite when breaking armor. Nice. Alright. Oh, wait, that's a lot of rings of... There we go. Deal over 100,000 damage in a single shot. Apparently I did that in that moment then. Incredible. Alright. Key? Double key or key? Let's go with double key. Poison rings. Poison strength increased by 250, but lightning no longer has any effect. Hi there, Jin. Himbo champions? Yeah. Health is power. Damage increase for every 50 health you have. Abilities spawn sentries. Ooh, okay, hang on. I really want to go for the health is power. So, hang on. So, let's get rid of... Let's get rid of that perk. And pick up the health is power. And then, there we go. More health. We're going through so many of these vials. Like, look how much damage is just... The projectiles, off the charts. The damage, off the charts. Icebreaker. Ice damage is also dealt to nearby enemies. Ooh, ultra shot, yes please. The craziness. Short of really fucking up? This is gonna be fun. Shot supply a random debuff? Yes, please, because I think I have the thing that increases the damage against enemies with like 5 debuffs or more. So that's an easy one. Alright, let's have a look. So we got enhancing the turrets, damage increase for each equipped armor plate, shots deal additional flat damage. Let's go with the flat damage increase. Luck, critical, or random. Let's go with luck. So turret out there, just open that way. Oh, hang on, what's this? Imploding explosion? Yep. Oh yeah, and then there's bubbles coming out with the turrets as well. Okay. Alright, luck chest, let's have a look. Driller, destroying has a greater chance to spawn loot. Yep. Let's go with Driller, because that ability is so great. Streamer loot, higher rarity loot has a greater chance to spawn from chest. Yep, let's go with that. Elite, and a greed chest. Alright, let's go for the elite. This is gonna make some real short fucking work of this one. Or I'm just gonna have like, you know, the entire. There we go. Alright, let's have a look. Chests contain more loot. Chance to get an extra chest when fall asleep near an island. Streamer loot, link shot, scatter shot. Alright, hang on, let's have a look. What's something I can get rid of here? Something that's useless. Gains 75%. Nah, let's drop that. Increase after leaving island. Shots contain one more good for sale. Reloading deals damage and knocks back enemies. 19% chance to instantly reload after elimination. Damage increases per combo. Damage increases armor and high health. 19% heal after clearing an island. Drops more crystals per combo. Applies and has a larger radius. Damage increase for each perk that you have. Extra crest here after island. Maximum health increased by 45. Turret increase. Yeah, okay, so salvage you and pick up the big chests. Oh, hello. I do not remember you. Lose 5% of your health for a 25% chance for a random pickup. Deals more damage than this. No, thank you. Health, spike. Let's go for another economy. Really bust up this shop. Nice himbo rating, by the by. A bit excessive, but it is what it is. Alright, special delivery contains more goods. Money is power. Snatcher, Tony's black card. Let's go with money is power again. And let's go for skill chest once more. Because we got a number of skill chests that can get skills and upgrade. Boomerang shots. Thank you. Those skulls are useless. Alright, is there anything over here? Oh, there's a bullet. Oh yeah, that's the boomerang one. No thanks on the boomerang, please. There we go. Alright, skill chest. Show me what you got. Bigger boom, slugger, crystal fertilizer, grip tape, big mag, and a targeting shot. Chance for shots to target nearby enemies on impact. Alright, what's my current ammo? 28. Nice. Alright, we got like 7. Let's see. What's this one? Ability spawn fire turrets when we do it. Nice. 1, 2. Let's go with 2 there. Let's reload you. More loot choices. Atsu increases, rapid fire. Fire increases. Damn, can't pick up any more. That's okay. What's this one? To enhance a random compatible. There we go. And this is the boss. So this is like the final bit. Oh, never mind. There's a giant ant. And that's cleared. Get ourselves a key, grip, spread, and recoil heavily reduced. More keys. Alright, I think that's it for this run. It's so ridiculous. Silver heart, and then the legendary chest gives us oh so many fucking abilities. Ring of swiftness. Why can't I pick? Oh, I've used up all my rings. Okay, lightning explodes, damaging area, spawn ability copies. Ability spawn abilities copies when exploding. Homing blades. Nah, I'm gonna take the victory. That was it. Collect the victory crown! Woo! Blue tiger. Got all those, and then we got warts. Alright. How do I unlock? Like, there's got, like, I have all these keys. Oh, okay. Cluster launcher. Oh, interesting. Okay. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but color me curious. Alright. Alright. Damn, this was fun. Alright. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, cool. It still does pretty decent direct damage. I just need to aim it a little bit more. There we go. That's that island cleared. Alright. Damage chest. Thank you very much. Every 5th shot deals more damage. Stick to enemies and deal more damage, but it's a short delay. Abilities are large and do more damage than anything. I'm gonna go with the blue shot. I'm gonna see how that goes. And then let's go for health, because I feel like we're gonna have defeat an elite for an epic chest. Alright. Go. Also, still have not increased my combo. Not too sure what it will take. Then a big chest, grenader. Let's go with the big chest so we have more options. And let's go for damage. So I'm not 100% comfortable dealing with armor enemies just yet. Give me my gems. There we go. Thank you. It was a creepy skull. It was... All the skulls are creepy. It's a skull. You should be concerned if you don't find a skull creepy one day. Deals more damage when aiming, but less when hip firing. Shots deal more damage for each shot fired until it's fired. Deals more damage when the size is reduced. Deals more damage when let's go for the speed. I'm curious what the speed one will do. Oh, goddamn you poison crab. Go. Alright, what are these two? 25% chance for random loot. Alright, speed. Rapid fire, gain more dashes, increases by 3 for every... Yep, let's go with that one. Ability cooldown reduced. Movement speed, shoot, pierce through enemies. Speed demon? We're gonna need one of those. There we go. And the reason why I accepted losing my health is because of these fun critters. What the? Get a random pickup. Explosive to enemies, deal more damage in a greater radius nearby. Nice. Increases accuracy. How fast does it go up? Maximum health increases by 25. Maximum health increases by 50. Slow giant drills. Spread and recoil heavily reduced. I would like to have that. Oh boy. Oh, god dang. Who just points something like that? Oh, it's you. Come on, there we go. Yes! Did it! Alright, cool. That gives me way more immunities. The chest. Let's have a look. More crystals drop when eliminating enemies. Chance to fire close range AoE blast along with shots. Link shots. Damage is increased by... Alright, let's see. Shotgun blast, money is power, collector, damage increases, reach rate. Money is power, money is power. And then bronze heart. Here we go. Some are more protest than others. Fair, but that's all. I hate to break it to you, but that is all stalls. All of them should be grotesque in your mind. Zigzag patterns. Deal more damage for each shot fired until stopping firing. That's fine with the randomized pattern. Critical and random. Let's go with crits. Well, that was a waste of a doubling. I am like less than where I was before. There we go. Oh, at least my health is. Alright, hot shot critical for each increasing critical hit. Hot shot, or Ringo Twins, I'm sorry. Greed, luck. Let's go with the luck. Go. Go. Destroying destructible rock. Auto. Yep. We're going with that driller one again. Economy or skill. Let's get some abilities. The delay hit. It's like, oh yeah, the second shot will be the one. I have barely any time to read. Damn it. There we go. There we go. Alright, cool. What is this ability? Let's have a read. Increases critical hit chance? Yes, please. I am going to need more of those. The cluster is... Abilities have a larger explosion. Yeah, let's go with speedy enemies. Yeah, I did not want to deal with speedy enemies here. There we go. There we are. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of speed. Alright. Critical hits deal more damage, but none deal less. Increase critical hit damage, increase chance. Increase critical hit chance, but incoming is also increased. No, let's go for power punch. We increase our chances and we increase our damage. Gain, but lose 25% of your health. No, I need this health. But yay, good news is I now have more than 600 health again. Abilities stick to end, but have a delayed explosion. Fire rate increased. Poison nearby enemies when breaking armor. Gain more enemy components. None of those are good. Increase movement speed. More destructible spawn. Yeah, let's go for the increase and yeah, alrighty, cool. Should be good now. The poison shall help me. If I can at least aim. No, don't shoot there. Key. Thank you. Let's see, what does the actual chest give me? Damage increase for each perk you have. Piercing wave. Alright, yeah, let's go with piercing wave. Bronze armor. And next work, please. Damage one? Yeah. Alright. Ultra shot. Blue, deal more damage. More damage. Aiming. Let's go with the ultra shot. And then another skill. I swear I had the... Okay, I just don't have a large arc. Give me more abilities, please. Greatly appreciate that. Do not have me deal with this Hornet. Oh, fuck you, Hornet. Oh, never mind. The Hornet is most likely dead at that point. There we go. Where is your... Oh, there's... Goddamn, really? I was right there. We were right there! Reset all cooldowns when destroying destructible rock. Nah, let's go with it. And let's go with Conquer. Oh, what was that? I didn't think I was in Horde. I thought I was in Arena. But okay. Gain after clearing each island. Gain when damaging enemies. Let's gain while damaging enemies. Elemental. Let's go Elemental. We need... Poisonous armor, lingering. Apply existing poisoning sites to nearby when eliminated. Yeah, let's go with the lingering fumes. And we're gonna go with the relic again. Because that lingering fumes is gonna be useful. Go. Power punch and power punch. Fuck you, fire crab. But first, let me break more stuff because I imagine that my perk of getting bonuses only applies when there's enemies around, or when I'm in the shop where there is no enemies. Yep, there we go. Gives me something. Fires in an arc formation? I don't know what that means. There we go. Alrighty. Relics. Fire rate increases by 33% for 5 seconds after eliminating an enemy. Shops always contain a pedestal that is discounted by 75%. Shops contain 5 more goods for sale. Let's go for the 5 more goods. Oh, yeah, that's better. And what's more is I have about 1,000 health. Nice. Alrighty, cool. So, bulletproof, chance to block damage, reloading and arcs, chance for enemies to drop health pickups, silver heart, pumpkin shot, dashing sends an arc of daggers in the direction that you're looking. Thinking, crystal fertilizer, max health increases after every close range encounter. Yeah, I don't know the close range means, so. Bronze armor, streak shot, link shot, power punch, deal constant aura, poison aura. Poison and damage nearby enemies every few seconds, contains more critical. Shots deal more damage, recoil is simply increased, deal constant aura, increase hit, lightning, chance to burst into 3 link shots. Alright, let's do it. Pray that this works. Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, that will lower my health. There we go. Nice. Parts of strength increase. Grenader, gain an extra ability, chance for target on impact. Yep, let's go for targeting shot. Increased damage, rate of fire, link shot, mega, and big chest. Let's go for the juice. And let's go for... So I'm always gaining health after clearing dungeons, so... Oh! That is a lot. Go. Nice. Well. Yeah. I'm awake. Yep, we're going for shots. Critical has enemies heal nearby enemies when. Alright, let's go with some of the rock. Let's go for it. Why is the grub moving so fast? Where is the other ones? There we go. chance to gain ammo when dealing damage. Yep, let's increase that disruptible nonsense, and let's go for another attack check, shall we? That's fine. Terrible. Hurt. Not interested. Alright, and then let's see, what's the economy like? Contains more goods for sale, gain money when damaging, drop more crystals depending on current combo. Yep, let's go for that one, and let's go for skill based. Shut up! No! Stop! Siri, stop. Why? Why did Siri think it was a good idea to pop up on that one? I didn't say anything related to her name. Get a random greed, use 5% of your health for a 25% transfer random. Fertilizer. Chest contained 2 more loot choices. Spread and reload and... Alright, let's go for the coral amulet. Explosive enemies for damage. I can't really handle explosives right now because, like, my health is really quite low. And I don't really have, like, a good means of getting more health yet. Oops. I survived this. Whew. And I barely have the health for it. Alright, so let's have a look. Sentry, spawn when they explode, crystal fertilizer, mag, settle cooldowns, bigger explosions. Shop we go. Boss. Damage increases after clearing each island. That would have been great a lot earlier. Let's see. Silver Heart. Sentry. Heart. Deals damage. And I don't have the crystals for any of these. Alright, let's give it a try. This was not a weapon for me. Alright, ding, dong. Double tap. Poisonous. Ring of Luck. Bomb that has a chance to spawn clusters of bombs nearby. Yep, let's head to the island. There's the 28th island, and we got ourselves another blue tiger for, like... Pretty sure we already got all those kinds of cosmetics, like... So, blue ice is for winning any difficulty, default is for buying the game, watermelon is defeating a boss without taking any damage, elites without taking any damage, orange is making 100 purchases at a shop in a single run, dealing 100k, let's go with warped, watermelon is for dealing... It's the same watermelon! What the... Oh. Blue, Nightmare, winning with a grappling... Yeah, there's like a lot of duplicate skins. Get a win with the dual shotguns on any difficulties. Kaleidoscope. Reach diamond account rank. Account rank is the average of your weapons rank. I've never heard of that. Toxic. Get a high score of at least 50 and hold out minigame. Get a win on Nightmare with any difficulty modifiers active. 5 or more difficulty monitors. Survive until Island 100. Huh, okay. And then... Some of these are interesting. Get 10,000 maximum health in a single run. Fill all mods and perk slots in your inventory. 20 mod slots with legendary weapon mods. Defeat a boss with at least 5 greed perks in your inventory. Level up a mod or perk to level 20 in a single run. Clear Island 21 in 16 minutes or less. Get a win without firing your weapon. Get a win with over 1 million unspent crystals. Get a win on normal without... Oh, but that's the same... Hello there. Welcome, welcome. How's it going, Bookie? Let's have a look. 64% mastery unlocked. I haven't unlocked all the perks. Cookie for Bookie. Here's your cookie, Bookie. Inaccurate but powerful burst pistol. I like that. You can only use this once per run. Oh my goodness. It's a good pistol. Nice. There's all... So, the Seagull, I have not yet unlocked. Burst pistol I did unlock. I don't have the dual pistols. I have the dual shotties. And then I have, obviously, the auto rifle. There's our burst pistol. Ice staff, marksman, arcane wand, cluster, blade, minigun, rocket launcher, orb launcher. I did get the crossbow. Laser cannons looks to be the... There we go. Yeah, thank you for coming along, Bookie. I greatly appreciate it. Piercing laser. Grenade boom. What the? Alright. I think that's gonna be it for me tonight, cause... Movement training. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, that I think is going to be it for me tonight. Because challenge level 1. Difficulty modifiers. Okay, so normal gives me 5. Nightmare gives me 10. Generating no more death dimension than reaching 1 height. That was the thing. Alrighty. Then quit. Yes. My content is saved and all that. Or my progress has been saved and what have you. The zebra's going for Z's? Yeah, the zebra is going for Z's! Sorry, I just had to stretch. Ugh. Question for me. If one says had a fan art to send, where would the best place be? Link via Twitter Whispers? Okay, so I actually have a Discord. So if there's like fan art, if there's like fan art of like, oh, this is really cool, then you can post it in the art channel. If it's something about the zebra, then you can go to the GrantZeebs art. Hang on a second. Discord. There we go. There's my Discord invite link. Crystal. I'm past the server cap, so I'd have to do it via DMs on Discord, sadly. There's a server cap? I didn't know there was a server cap. That's a new thing for me. I was not aware of that. I was not aware that like Discord had a server cap, let alone that people would reach it. Huh. Damn. Okay. Double damn. Alrighty. Alright. I know there's an advertisement going off, but I will be back online Friday night for more like spoiler-free Final Fantasy 14. So what that means by spoiler-free is that, you know, what's Mahuzi? Blah 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 blah. Brain. So spoiler-free means that I won't be going through Dawn Trail progress. Now, the reason why I'm doing a Final Fantasy 14 on the Friday night again is because I actually have plans to play early in the morning Saturday with Unnamed. So, that one is going to be a co-op of the Space Marines 2. Hopefully I'll be able to download it Friday, and then I just need to remember to wake up early on the Saturday. And I'm not going to be able to play games all day Saturday because I am going to be hanging out with my sister for a pedi and a manicure. Man, there's so much stuff I could have been talking about, but I was like so absorbed in Crab Champions that I was not a very good streamer where it's just like, yep, 100% into it, just doing click 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 click. 100 of them when I hit with all the streamer servers, and then you get 200 if you were subbed. With the Discord Nitro. Okay. Understandable on that one. I'm sorry to hear that there is a Discord server cap. I don't think I've gotten up to that cap with my number of servers. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20... 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. I am currently up to 50 servers. That is quite a bit. I will be real with you. I probably do need to clean up my Discord because a number of them I don't interact with. And I don't think it's healthy for me to be in so many Discords where the only thing I'm doing is being like, hey, you should come check out my stream. It's like, I should probably limit the number that I'm a part of because I'm not 100% certain on how many of those I am like effectively able to be like, hey, you should come to my stream, and they, you know, listen and what have you. I don't think I do that in too many of them, so yeah, I should probably like, you know, dip out of a few of them. So, but yeah, is everyone out of advertising? Yes, everyone is out of advertisement. Excellent. So yeah, as I iterated before, Friday night I'm going to be going through Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMORPG, Final Fantasy XIV. It's not going to be anything related to Dawn Trail. It's going to be whatever the fuck I want. It's most likely going to be like some of the raids that I have not completed back in Shadowbringers or Endwalker, quite frankly. I just need to remember to go over to Materia when I do it, so then that way I don't have to deal with a heavy amount of ping, and if anyone wants to play on the Materia servers, they can data center travel from any of the other data centers over into the Oceania. And Saturday morning, I'll be playing Space Marines co-op with Unnamed, which should be fun. And yeah, that will be that. All right, let's have a look. Let's see who is online. Let's see. Oh, Beef McCat is online. It's been a while since I've seen Beef McCat at stream. That's nice. How are they doing? I hope they're doing alright. Hang on, let me just double check everything. Yeah, Mega's doing silly things. Alright. Yep, no, we're gonna go for Beef McCat. So they're a chill looking cat fur. They're currently going through what it looks to be just the start of Fable 2 as well, so hopefully that should be good. So yeah, let's get going into a raid. They look like they have a cool new model as well. So, my goodness, you'll drop a whisper for me? Ah, okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Alright, where is my brain? We're gonna go Pog. Is that a new model? Pog. If you don't have my Pog emote, that's okay. You're welcome to use anyone else's Pog emotes. You're welcome to do so. Alright, that will be it for tonight. I need to really have a think about a different sort of whatsamahoozy stream layout, most likely, because I think what I might need to do is I need to clean up like the chat thingy-majiggy up there. I might need to like shrink the gameplay a little bit so I'm not always breaking into it. So, because there's a lot of elements that I'm blocking as a zebra. Some of them is appropriate for, like, you know, Final Fantasy XIV, but some of them may not be. So yeah, anywhoosies, let's go and get ready to raid into Beef McCat. I hope you all have a wonderful time with him. Otherwise, thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.